One of the real important topics that doesn't get a lot of attention and is not talked about as much as it should be is how do real estate commissions work? This is something that a lot of agents will just say, hey, here's my standard price, or here's what the going price for the town is. The sellers need to understand there is no such thing as a standard price. Every commission is individually negotiated. So when you're evaluating an agent, you want to find out exactly what they're going to do to market your property and what they propose to charge you for it. Are they going to charge you 5%? And if so, is that going to be split equally? Most commissions, not all of them, are split. The way that the MLS works now is that you hire an agent to market your property and you agree to a commission. What that agent will do is they'll offer part, hopefully half, of that commission out to the other agents. There are 33,000 agents in our MLS, and give them incentive to come and sell your house. So really what you've done is you're hiring someone to take on all the time and expense of marketing your property, and you've also sort of hired an outsourced sales force of 33,000 agents. Now any one of them can bring you a buyer that's willing to get you the highest and best price, and they will be paid out of that commission. So the things to consider when you're talking with an agent is what their overall commission is going to be, what they're going to do specifically to market the home, and we'll talk a lot more about that further on in the seminar, and what their cooperation is going to be with other agents. Your agent should be able to talk openly and honestly with you about the commission and the rates that they'll charge. In some towns, the difference of a 0.5% increase offered to buyer agents can result in a 1 or 1.5% increase in the average sales price. So these are all things that you should factor in when you're interviewing an agent and going over their value proposition to you and your property. Some other things that are really important when you're considering contracts and the agents that you're interviewing is some of the other terms. Everybody always just thinks of the commissions, but there are other things with the contracts that can be very important as well. The first one being the term. A lot of times this doesn't get discussed with the seller until the contract is put under their nose to sign. But is your agent asking for an exclusive contract, and are they asking for 3 months? Are they going to shoot for 6 months or hopefully a year? That's all negotiable as well. Every bit of a real estate agreement is negotiable. So you want to find out what type of term your agent is asking for and consider that as part of the overall package. One of the other things that you as a seller should demand is the ability to cancel a contract. Is your agent gonna like that? No, they won't, because really that's transferring all the risk from you as the seller as to who you hire, and it transfers all the risk onto them, right? So they now need to be accurate, they need to be responsive, and they need to earn your business. So the ability to cancel a contract is very important to keep your agent honest and working for you. It's also important how that's worded, and feel free to contact us for how to word this correctly. You have to have the ability to cancel the contract, not withdraw the listing or take it off the market. Those are all terms that agents will use, which means that they are agreeing that they will no longer market the property, but you're not clear of the contract, so you can't hire somebody else or you can't sell it with somebody else without still paying them. So that's really an important thing for sellers to consider. The other thing is it a flat or a variable contract? You know, most people just assume that there's just one rate that's paid, but agents don't really talk about what happens if the buyer doesn't come with a buyer agent. Most buyers will come with a buyer agent, of course, but if a buyer comes unrepresented, they come to an open house, they come through an advertisement or direct to your agent, firstly, your agent still needs to represent you exclusively. You actually have to have the buyer sign a form that acknowledges that they work for you, but are you going to pay the same commission if that's the case? A lot of sellers will negotiate in a lower commission if a buyer agent doesn't need to be paid. If that's not in there, your agent just gets a windfall. They get it sort of a double commission. But it does make sense, and a lot of sellers will demand that if they don't need to pay an agent out of that they will pay a reduced commission. So those are all things that are very important, and we're happy to go over a list of things that you should consider in a real estate contract when interviewing agents as well.